Welcome back to Channel C1. I'm Demika Jamal.
This is Cam King.
And today we watched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
This morning, I actually watched for the first time Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I did not do a reaction to it. I just watched it. I never seen it, so I wanted to make sure I saw that before we went in. It was amazing.
He said he thought it was the best Spider-Man movie ever after watching it.
Yeah, I think so. It feels like a comic book.
I stood in and watched a little bit while he was watching it because I had already seen it. And it's like I recaptured that feeling because I hadn't watched it in a long time. And I was like, damn. That was a good movie.
Yeah,
Into the Spider-Verse is really good.
Exceptional.
And we both feel that Across the Spider-Verse maintains that same quality. You can argue which one you prefer. It's definitely not a step down.
It is actually a very good sequel. You know, very rarely these days do sequels even live up to their originals. And I'm sure some people argue that the sequel is better.
Side note, there will be no spoilers in this review, just so you're aware. They have some good callbacks from the first movie that they set up in the first movie that pay off really well in this movie. The cameos, I feel like you're gonna be very excited.
Yes, there are some cameos. There is one that really kind of got me.
Yeah, it's really surprising.
It's very
and it's pretty funny as well. Some of the characters you have seen in the trailers, like Spider-Punk, Pavatir, the Spider-Man from India, Mumbattan. Spider-Punk is a standout.
Yeah,
in this movie. His introduction, immediately I was like,
yeah,
this is my favorite Spider-Man.
I need a full movie with him.
Yeah, Spider-Punk is, I don't know. I know what Spider-Punk looks like. I didn't know a lot about him from the comics. I'd never seen him in any animations, if he was, any video games. So when he even started talking, I was like, whoa, oh my God. He was very funny, but also very cool.
Even funny, the humor in this movie was top notch.
Yeah,
it landed very consistently. It wasn't like, oh my God, I was laughing the whole time, but it was very
well timed, felt very natural.
Yeah.
The story, very interesting, very heartfelt, and there was a lot of surprises, just story-wise, not even cameos. There was a few moments that you could kind of predict, but it wasn't confirmed until it actually is revealed. You like,
they executed the twists pretty well. And looking back, some of them are like, oh, that's kind of obvious if you really think about it, but it was done very well.
It was done very well. This movie is excellent. The only thing that I would even say in comparison to the first movie, the theme song, obviously from the first movie, is Sunflower. And they didn't really have, I would say, a theme song in this movie. And they didn't have this song, I guess, that they would use for the final moment, like What's Up Danger from the first movie. They don't really have one of those that sticks in my mind to where I really look back on it and like associate it with this movie. The music is good, but it's not iconic how the first music from the first movie
I would agree with that as well. The soundtrack's very solid. I've just been listening to it here too. It's very enjoyable. It's just not iconic.
Gwen, they do a great job with Gwen. We get a little bit more of her backstory. It's pretty heartbreaking, honestly. I felt like I was gonna tear up in
the first 15 minutes.
For the movie, I was like, oh my God, like, whoa. We get a lot of information on Gwen, a lot of good development for her, but it doesn't take away from Miles. They do a good job of balancing
the characters very well. They balance going around and telling stories and getting their motivations through. This movie definitely has a bit of a more serious tone to it.
Yes.
So I could see some people maybe, missing that some of the fun is not as there as much.
Yeah.
However, it is a two-part movie.
It's intense.
This is the first part, and I feel that the second part's gonna be where you get more action and more of the faster pace, and the first part kind of laid some of the groundwork.
Yeah, it definitely laid a lot of good ground.
They do leave you wanting more for sure.
It's a cliffhanger for sure.
For a movie that doesn't have a dedicated ending, it's
very satisfying.
It's very satisfying.
It's very satisfying.
Very, very satisfying.
Voice acting continued to be great, of course, from the first movie. I don't know who the voice actor for Spider-Punk is, or I believe it's Issa Rae for Jess Drew Spider-Woman. Whoever it is, that did a great job. They maintained that quality from the first movie. Oh, that's who it is. Okay, so it's the guy from Get Out. If you've seen the movie Get Out,
I don't know how to say his
I'm pretty sure it's Kaluuya. He's the voice actor for Spider-Punk. He was also in Black Panther as well, the first one. He was also in Nope. If you put those together, you'll probably recognize his face.
Haley Steinfeld was Ghost Spider.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know that, huh?
Didn't recognize that, no.
Yeah, no, she's Gwen. She did an amazing job. Yeah, his relationship with his parents is kind of sad. There's a moment that you feel like is gonna be fulfilling between him, Miles, and a certain character, but then the shock when it's revealed at that moment isn't going to land how you expect it to land.
It executed very well, but it was like, oh damn, that sucks.
Shit. Oh my. Yes. And the logic behind the way some of the other Spider people treat Miles, at first you're like, why are they? Is it just because he's the main character of the movie? That's what I was thinking, like, oh, okay, of course. The logic behind it is explained very well. It makes a lot of sense. Spot as a villain, pretty good. He starts off a little, you think, okay, he's just typical villain. His development as a villain towards the end is pretty satisfying, and it's pretty intimidating as far as what you feel like he might be capable of.
He gets some growth villain-wise.
Yes, some growth for sure. And his connection to Miles is pretty interesting as well. He's not the only villain though. There's multiple villains. One that you will never predict. There is a villain in this movie that you will not predict. He didn't even remember because it comes in, I don't want to say exactly when he's revealed that that's another, I guess you don't want to call him villain, antagonist. You're like,
okay.
Yes. That was, because you're thinking, and by the trailer, you're like, okay, Spot is the villain, Miguel O'Hara is the villain. You're like, okay, we get it. Those are the two, like, combining forces, The amount of anticipation I have for the next Spider-Verse movie, Miles Morales Spider-Man movie, is similar to the anticipation I have in between Infinity War and Endgame.
For sure.
Yes, they actually have to hurry up.
Yeah, it was the movie was almost 2.5 hours long, and it ended, and I was like, I'd sit through another 2 hours.
Yeah,
if it was a 5-hour movie, I would have watched it.
Every moment was done well, felt natural. Nothing felt rushed. Nothing felt too long, like it dragged. We got
good pacing. It was good pacing. There's moments where it breathed. It didn't just start off crazy action in the beginning. You really got some development time with the family and some of the characters. And then it just kind of slowly introduced some of the concepts and all the other characters, and then of course the action picks up, and it just so very naturally. And the fight sequences are pretty good. They're pretty cool. Yeah. They're very plot driven too. Out of 10, what you gonna give it?
Out of 10? I mean, I know this is 2 movies back to back, but like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was amazing. This is amazing. So it's like, I don't want to be that person that's trying to be like, oh, well, I don't want to give any movie a 10 out of 10. This is a 10 out of 10. I enjoyed it. And because sometimes I enjoy movies that aren't necessarily great, vice versa. But I enjoyed this, and I felt that it was also a quality story.
It was very immersive.
Yes, it was very immersive. There weren't really a whole bunch of moments that I was like, started thinking about the movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you think about what's going on behind the scenes, like, oh, how did they, or the voice acting, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes you notice certain people's characters' voices and like what they may have done that like took you out of the movie, certain ways they said things.
Yeah, everything's, you guys know from the first one. The first one's absolutely spectacular. Which was a treat, by the way, to watch the first one for the first time and then just go immediately into the sequel.
Yeah,
that was really nice. Imagine, Very fresh in the memory. I don't know, that 10 for me is reserved for exceptional movies.
I can't wait for the third one.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad. I was kind of mad when it ended, and I was like, God damn it.
It ended on
they cucked us.
Yeah, that shit. Whew. Now, would you say it's better than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Or which one would you put above it?
I mean, they're both comic book movies, but it's hard to compare because Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is the ending. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we're only comparing it because that's the most recent movie out, but I would compare it to Volume 2 more than I would 3 because it's like the middle movie. So if that's the case, I would say it's better than Volume 2. I gotta see what Part 2's like and compare that kind of like Guardians Volume 3.
I would say,
because there's a lot of emotional payoff in Volume 3 that you don't have in this movie because, again, this movie's not the
second one.
Yeah.
I would say some of the strong, like the emotional payoff moments that they have in Guardians of the Galaxy are better and more satisfying. However, as a whole of the movie and just as far as being quote unquote flawless, I would put this one above Guardians of the Galaxy.
And we're also comparing a non-animated movie with an animated movie,
there's certain things that go over well, certain jokes that even go over well and better in animation.
And even that, but like I feel that I know animated movies can be excruciatingly painful to make, but the process of fixing mistakes is easier
in animated because you don't have to go back and film something new.
Right. And even if you need a cast member to redo something, they just have to like, it's not necessarily easier because fixing something can still take a long time, but like you say, you don't have to go back and film it. You're not restricted by that necessarily. So I really think these, to me, so far, like if Part 2 is anything like Part 1, then anything like the first movie, this is the best Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed all Spider-Man movies for the most part, but when I watched that one this morning, that was amazing. And then I go seeing the sequel here, and the sequel is just as good, if not a little better. They're gonna have a hard time convincing me. Like,
Yeah.
maybe y'all think it's not, but I feel like these are the best Spider-Man movies we've ever had.
They're
They
very well
hit
told.
Spider-Man well as a character.
Yeah,
He's funny, and he's funny in the right ways.
And it's it's interesting. They maintain the consistency, like the identity of Spider-Man and Spider people in general. But all the Spider people all have their unique personalities, their distinct and mindsets that are like not exactly the same all the time. Like their experiences are the same, but how they grow from those experiences is a little bit different. And everybody's like, well, no, this happened, so that's why I'm doing this. Well, that happened to me too, so that's why I'm doing the exact opposite of what you're saying to do.
Also, as a multiverse movie, fantastic too.
Fantastic as a multiverse movie.
Mm-hmm. Who's your favorite character?
I mean,
well, you already kind of answered that, didn't you?
Well, as far as new characters, Spider-Punk for sure.
Not all of them.
But out of all of them, I would say probably, Gwen, honestly. We just got so much of her in this movie too. She
almost seemed like she was the main character of this movie.
Yeah, there's parts where she felt like the main character a little bit.
My favorite's actually the Peter Parker, his mentor.
Oh, Peter B.
Peter B, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually like him a lot, especially in this movie. You guys know by the trailers, he's got a child.
Right, May.
But I don't know, his scenes were very well crafted, and I felt like he was very good. Oh, you know what it reminded me of? Incredibles, baby.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Jack. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, it was the Spider-Man
Jack. Spider-Man Jack. Actually, that'd be interesting if they grew up and somehow ended up dating in an alternate universe. That'd be interesting.
That'd be funny.
That'd be interesting.
What did you think of Spider-Man Across the Verse? And where does it rank for you? Are you excited for the third one or the second part?
If you haven't seen the movie yet, did this inspire you to go see it? Were there some things that we said that kind of turned you off? Like, oh, they're doing that in the movie? Let us know in the comments. We got a lot of Game of Thrones style reaction on this channel. We do react to Marvel stuff as well when they come out.
We'll have Secret Invasion coming up soon.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
We have had like a Marvel break, haven't we?
Yeah, it's been a while since. Yeah. Because the stuff has been coming out in theaters, but we've already watched it. So.
But we got some shows coming up, so it's exciting year. Check us out.
Thank you.